Join us on this epic adventure over the Great Barrier Islands. We spent 7 days camping on the boat. Chad finally nails his first kingfish. The weather was amazing. The viz was epic. There were firsts for all of us. This was such a cool trip, and we can only hope that you enjoy watching it half as much as we enjoyed the experience. First things first though, we need to stop and see Darren from Weddy to get ourselves some new dive gear.
Chad's bought himself a new pair of fins. It's the new Kingfish lure fin. Guaranteed to
Hopefully they don't let me down.
You heard it here. First Chad, guaranteed to work.
At a trade fair, and I found a mask with window wipers on the inside.
Electric ones.
No, it's got a little push button.
Oh,
push
yeah.
it.
On the inside?
Yeah.
Why don't you just spin in them?
Yeah, so if your mask folds up, you
Just push
push
the
it and the window wipers go.
What time is it, Chad?
Kingy time.
We couldn't be more grateful for Darren's hospitality. Not only did he bring us back a heap of gear to his place to look through after hours, but he also put us up for the night and launched us in the morning, so a huge thanks to Darren. I really appreciated that, mate.
No, hang on, what are you doing there?
After a tour of the outside bathroom, it'd be rude not to try out the shower. Next morning, we got the boat ready, one last check of all the gear, and then we were ready to hit the water, navigate the bar, and make our way over to Great Barrier Island. We only had a small weather window to make it over there that morning, and we probably should have left a little bit earlier because we ended up cutting it a little bit fine. Bloody woman drivers. Made it up around the top. We're going to have to endure a bit of shit seas up our arse until we can get back down the eastern side and find somewhere to take shelter. This is more like it. We found a nice little sheltered bay and swam our gear into shore to set up camp, but the locals told us we weren't welcome and we had to jump back on the boat. First little stop for the trip, lunchtime. Food please. After a quick lunch stop, we jumped in the water and were greeted by some pretty epic viz by our standards. We'd been used to a couple of metres at best back home for the summer, so it was really a treat to jump in to the water over here. I found this nice little gut quite close to the boat and figured it was worth setting up a burley to try get some snapper in. There were some handy kinner nearby, so I broke a few of those up and put them right up the top of the gut. After about 10 minutes I returned back to the gut for a look to see if any snapper had come in for a feed of kinner. I was pretty stoked to find my first Spanish lobster, and since I've never tried these before, it was this guy's unlucky day and he was coming back to the boat for a feed. Thought a few creamy fat kinner would go well with the lobster, but they didn't actually taste any good, and I noticed while I was gathering them that the spines were laying down. I've never noticed this before, and after a bit of research when we got home, I found out that it's caused by blooms of a toxic microalgae, of which I'm not going to try pronounce. So far, the Kinniburley was only bringing in small snapper, so I thought I'd maybe add this Pirore to the mix and see if I could bring in something bigger. Georgia takes the fish down and plants it just around the corner from the gut. Coincidence or not, there's a bigger fish there now, but it's on to me and I take a poor shot and miss completely. Georgia has found a butterfish to sight her gun in with, so at least now we have something to go with the lobster for dinner.
Got it.
One last check of the gut today, but I can't see anything decent in there. So I just pop over around the corner here where we've planted the Pirore frame. A nice wee snapper emerges down to the left hand side. Looks like he's actually just come out of the gut that I looked into, so maybe I didn't have a very good look. But I managed to spook him and don't get a shot away. So back to Spanish lobster and butterfish for dinner.
We've got the roof on.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, but that was my job. It actually landed face up.
We're just trying to start dinner, but pretty tough and shitty weather and trailer boat with lots of gear.
What's for dinner tonight, friend?
Fish, onion, garlic on wraps.
Nice. What do you reckon?
Oh, we'll see, eh? Neighbours popping.
Yeah, so
Do you reckon our boat had heaps of room on it?
We're struggling for room over there.
Yeah.
come on, come on.
Do you need a hand? No?
Oh no. That's very early for you, isn't it, mate?
He looks like it too, eh?
Oh, he's got the sneezes.
Hey, chicken.
Alright,
Oh, good to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Day 2, late start. Let's go find some fish.
Back in the water, but due to the wind howling we still couldn't get out of this sheltered bay, so we're back to the old faithful gut from yesterday. I'd set up at Kinniburley here 10 minutes earlier, and the first look over the edge here looks quite promising with a couple of nice snapper. I was taking my time here. I didn't want to take a shot where it was because I didn't want to shoot straight into the rocks, so I was hoping it would swim out there a bit in front of my gun, but I decided we needed some snapper for dinner this time, so I took the shot and put my spear into the rock, and right about here I realised that I've lost the fish. Now my spear was super blunt as well, so I had to swim back to the boat and grab my second gun. After checking a couple of burleys and having no sign of snapper, it was time to check out some different ground and try find a crayfish. I got distracted from the crayfish hunt by this friendly wee wrasse. I decided to give it a feed of kinner. Then Georgia drops down to feed it, but you notice her knife dropping out of her pouch right here and falling next to her head. So no surprise she can't find her knife when she goes to get it. Never mind, that one will do until she finds hers. It amazes me how friendly and trusting these wrasse can be. This one even lets me give it a little pat and a belly rub. Georgia, providing dinner tonight.
Yet again, second night in a row.
These ones are first for you?
No.
Matt. Just. That one's definitely legal.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Now, something here. That was better. Damn it, I didn't get it.
The humble abode sleeping quarters. It's cozy.
It's cozy.
It's pretty 5-star right here, mate.
And it's raining outside again.
It's almost raining inside.
It's almost raining inside.
Happy New Year!
Yeah.
1st of January, kicking the year off with French toast.
And cleaning water out of the front of the house.
And drying towels and clothes.
And food. Eating.
Trailer boat life.
It's a good way to start the morning off.
Thanks for breakfast, Dad.
Day 3, the winds had finally dropped off and we were able to get out of our sheltered bay and look at some new coastline. Georgia starts off by nailing this nice blue Moki.
Oh no, it's a blue Moki. It's a blue Moki. Sure. Nice.
About that. I can't believe. Howard chipped onion and garlic sandwiches. I'm gonna give it maybe a 4 out of 10.
4.
4.
4 out of 10.
I think it needs lemon, and it'll be a 6.
Once the Grim Reaper finished her work on the blue Moki, we got back into the water. This drop off felt super fishy, and I was sure I was going to get a shaft into a nice kingy here or maybe even a snapper, but it just wasn't to be. After half a dozen dives, there was just nothing happening, so I left this school of demoiselles to it and moved on along the coast a little bit. Chad was sitting this dive out. He stayed back on the boat due to a sore ear. So Georgia and I headed along this new bit of coast, trying to find some new snapper ground. I had set a kinner burley up over this nice ledge, and on the first dive there's a couple of snapper floating around. So it looks like snapper for dinner. But I'm back on fine form and have completely missed.
My spear's not as munted as I thought it would be. Yeah, I think so. I'll have another crack at the burleys, I think. Just give it a couple of minutes.
I went back down to break up some more kinner, and I found this big packy sitting on the burley.
Did you not see this on it? It's in berry though, I have to put it back. It was eating the kinner and the burley. I went down to break more kinner and I was like, oh shit, this thing's eating it. I'll take it back down. Can you dive it? Anything?
There's no snap of it as it's coming around the corner. Like I literally moved around with my gun first, and the silver drum was coming out the other side, and I was like, no.
And then you shot. You didn't.
No, I said okay. come in and there was nothing. Oh, there was an eel.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could find a crayfish cracky because there's got to be some good crays here, obviously.
It's the morning of day 4 and we're back in the same spot. I got my snapper last night and hoping to do a little better. I realised this morning that I could burley this gut on the left, and it meant I could dive down, check on this burley if there's no snapper, make my way over to the right to my original burley. Nice little 2-for-1. I'm seeing snapper on the burleys, but they're all just quite small. I've got a good feeling that there has to be some better fish around. And here they are. And that's me on fine form once again. Missed the big snapper and I am kicking myself. But let's replay that just to rub salt in my wounds. Well, at least I didn't miss that one. Haha, redemption time. Oh wow, that's embarrassing. I hope you're all enjoying this Snapper Missing compilation.
Morning, Snapper Snoop. How successful was that for you, mate?
No good.
No good.
When you fish,
We both suck.
Now that we've shot at and spooked every snapper along the coast, it's time to head out to the point and try get Chad his first kingfish.
What time is it, Chad?
kingy time.
I can wait. That man does not deserve it. No!
Did you lose it? Oh, cool.
I'd already echoed him.
Oh no, yeah, the fish is still there. Yeah. Woohoo! Fuck.
You got it twice.
Shot, mate.
The drought is over.
Finally.
Now it's my turn to get in the water and try to redeem myself for that snapper debacle earlier. Chad had seen and shot at 3 different schools of kingfish already, so I was pretty confident that a kingfish would come in on the back end of one of these kahawai schools. But it just didn't happen. Heaps of blue mau mau, heaps of trevally, heaps of kahawai, but I couldn't get a kingfish to turn up anywhere. I decided to shoot this trevally so that we had a bit of fresh sashimi, and also to try lure a kingfish in. This often works if you can shoot another fish like a trevally, kahawai or koharu. I waved Georgia over here, just so that if a kingfish does turn up, she'll be in a position to shoot it, as obviously I won't be with my gun unloaded and my shaft currently in a trevally. On the very next dive, this bronzy showed up exactly where I speared the trevally. Not exactly the target species I was trying to draw in. Chad's got the monkey off his back.
Finally, eh?
A 7-year drought of chasing kingfish.
7 years now.
Finally pulled it off. We only had to come to
He makes it sound so bad.
We only had to come to Barrier twice, Tutakaka once, Doubtless Bay once, home dozens of times. We got there. It was the 3rd kingfish shot at for the day, but got there.
Thanks for that.
Oh, you can really see them.
Gun maintenance.
This is gonna be stretchy and
How do we train for spearfishing? Smash a few reps out in the boat.
Is, oh yeah.
Few of those.
That should do it, eh?
Watch and learn, kids. The Kingy Slayer is teaching us tricks for spearfishing.
Why are you always gonna be a dickhead?
Yeah.
After some lunch, fish filleting and gun maintenance, I was back in the water and back to business. Redemption time for some snapper. George is now diving down on the same burley, and it looks like she's shot a snapper off it as well. Just another small one, but it means we're eating snapper for dinner. It's good to get a couple on the board. I've moved straight on to my second burley out on the point. Another small snapper, but I'm still just happy to have a couple in the bag now.
Two burleys, 2 dives, 2 fish. 3 dives, 3 fish. There's a couple of, about 3 on that one. If you're diving again, if it's like just that next gutter, he's going to go over that bit and then get it down there. That's like 4 times come back to it now as we snap on it every time. What's down there? Snap it, a burley over the little ledgy bit. Yeah, pretty much. Shot 2 off it. Oh, yeah, I shot one, Georgia shot one. I shot one down a bit further. Like there's been snap on it every time.
Yeah, I had about 3 keep hanging out. I got one over there, just paddies. I had one on the end of the gun and I was like, oh, you're not big enough.
Not that funny. I'll try to find some crays.
I just got frustrated and pulled the trigger on a blue Mao where safety was on. Which is really good.
Few nice tribs in there. Few nice tribs right here.
Morning of day 5, and we get out for an early morning snapper snoop. I actually forgot to put my contacts in this morning, so I was a little bit worried I'd end up with a red Moki on the end of my spear mistaken for a snapper. Thankfully my eyesight isn't too bad up close. There were a few snapper around, but they were all little, and we didn't really need the meat. So we headed back out to the point, in the bluer water, in the hopes of finding a kingfish. Heaps of kahawai around again, but on this occasion, the kingfish turned up right behind them. I've waited patiently for a good shot, and I've put a really good holding shot into the fish. So I head back to the surface while keeping quite a bit of pressure on the line, as I knew it was going to try run me into the reef below. We signal for Chad to bring the boat over so that I can get this fish out of the water as soon as possible before the taxman turns up and takes his share. This kingfish was giving me a good run for my money. It was trying its best to get down to that reef, and it was so close. I was only just holding it off from being able to get into the weeds and tangle me up.
You want a second shot?
Georgia drops down to put a second shot into the fish, but she assesses my shot and decides not to place her one. Unfortunately, I was keen on the second shot, not because I was worried about the fish getting off, but I really wanted to land the fish as soon as possible before the taxman arrives. You have to always be careful not to get any line tangled around you in this situation. And right here I could feel the line, the Dyneema from my reel was caught around my GoPro. But I freed that pretty quickly and we're back to business.
If you wanted.
No, it was good. I just wanted to try slow him if you could get it. I wasn't worried, but I was like, if you can get one in, it might just fucking slow him down or spine him.
Sorry.
That's right. It was good.
I had a good shot in him.
Oh.
I was like, oh, it's holding straight. I also get nervous about those reel guns and how much in line getting tangled up.
Oh, you want to get one, George?
Yeah.
I've put the Kingfish into my big wetty float boat. That's because we're trying to keep the floor of the boat dry, as that's also our bed tonight. We focused on trying to get a kingfish for Georgia, but it just wasn't happening, so we jumped back on the boat for some lunch. What do we got here?
A little bit of koharu sashimi, wasabi. Delightful. Dig in.
After a feed and a rest, we jumped back in the water into a new spot to hunt some snapper for the evening. Georgia drops down onto her burley at the top of this ledge, and I drop down a little bit deeper just to see if there's anything hanging around down a bit lower. This massive school of koharu come through, and then I hear George's shot, so she shot a snapper. I just sit down here waiting, hoping that there's going to be a kingfish at the back end of this koharu school, which just seems to be never ending. No kingfish presented themselves, so I've headed back over to my snapper burley. Day 6 seen us hunting some new ground, chasing kingfish once again. I didn't get any footage of it, but Chad plugged this nice kingfish to start the morning off. Kingy Slayer Chad reckons he's clocked the spearfishing game now, so he's out of his gear and playing boatman for the day. We worked hard once again to try get Georgia a kingfish, but it just didn't happen. She did get a crack at one this morning, and unfortunately she missed, so moved on to some new ground. And I've found this nice little sandy weed edge, which is perfect for boarfish. Or so I'm told, because I haven't shot a boarfish before. Georgia drops down the weed line here to the sandy edge, and I hear the shot. So I'm thinking she's probably found a boarfish, but it turns out she's missed a snapper.
What was that? Oh, true.
On my very next drop, I spot this tail sticking out of the weed edge, and I've got myself my first bory, right next to where Georgia missed the snapper just a couple of minutes earlier.
I didn't see another one, but I didn't actually I locked onto that one. I didn't really look around.
Was it right into the snapper I shot?
Probably. It wasn't far along, I guess.
After a few more drops looking for bories, we moved along the coast to look for some crayfish. But I made about as much mess of that as I did my snapper shooting the first few days of the trip, so crayfish weren't on the menu that night.
Fuck! Oh, I screwed that up.
I didn't even see him.
Did you? Oh,
No,
sorry.
I saw
There's,
the Moki.
fuck, there's like 3 or 4 good sized packies there.
Oh, really?
And then I got around the backside, seen another couple of small ones, like they won't be legal. Then I seen a red, I was like, oh, they might be legal, so I went to grab it, but fuck
I
it.
couldn't see a single one.
I'll go down, grab my gun and do one more
Nice
look around.
hooking up.
A little bit down there, yeah. I'll go grab my gun and do one more check.
Quick measure, that one's not worth keeping, so I let it go back to live another day. We jump back on the boat for the day and Georgia decides that she wants a shot at the backflip title.
Ready?
I went straight out.
That's pretty good.
We found a quiet, sheltered bay to spend one last leisurely night on the island.
How's the last evening going?
Very relaxed.
We became good friends with our neighbours that night, and Georgia decided she might like a hangover the next morning.
catching the piper and the jackmags.
Fuck's sake.
Okay, what am I catching,
Like when we
Reese?
first turned these lights on, it was crazy.
Piper and jackmags?
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta do 3 at once on none at all. It's on the camera.
That's what you should be doing.
Like one at a time.
Exactly what she's doing now.
It's on the camera, so we're supposed to. Oh, you're hundreds!
This is our final day, day 7. Some of us are feeling a little more lively than others. But this is our last chance to get onto some good fish.
We're pumped?
Yep. Bory time.
Hey, Bory time.
Bory time.
Unfortunately, it didn't look like much of a bory spot. But I found a couple of good areas to bash up a heap of kinner in the hope of finding some good snapper. I even added a silver drummer to one of the burleys, trying all the tricks to bring in some decent snapper.
Well, that's a wrap, team. Back to the mainland. Yep.
Could do another week. Luxury.